Will the Seattle Mariners make the playoffs in 2024? Let's talk about it. So this is very much a painful video to talk about because right now the Seattle Mariners sit 2.5 games back in the AL West after another walk-off loss to Detroit. That is, as you are seeing this video, the game during the day has already happened, so I don't really know the result of it yet, but I'm filming this ahead of time because I just really need to get this off my chest. The first thing I would like to address in this video is the Julio Rodriguez situation with his high ankle sprain. As we saw last night, he is really just struggling to move around on it. He tried to get out of the way of a fastball that almost hit him, and he looked like he was in excruciating pain, but still stayed in and got a hit. It was eventually pitch ran for by Dom Canzone, so he was taken out of the game, and he still says he's day-to-day and he still feels fine, but obviously Scott didn't want to take the risk today into the day game with not that much time in between games. So the whole Julio situation is really just aggravating because I'd rather see him sit another week and then be fully ready to go than just keep trying to rush him back in before he's fully healthy, and it can hurt us in the long run. But truthfully right now, I don't even know what's going to help at this point because the Seattle Mariners go from sweeping the New York Mets to being able to lose 4 games to the Detroit Tigers out of the 5 times they've recently played them. But the one thing I keep seeing across Twitter and some of my tweets, I say how much we need Julio because, again, he is our franchise player and we do need him in the lineup. A lot of you guys are saying we don't need him, we've been fine without him, yada, yada, yada. Which I don't really know where that's coming from, and I understand the frustration with how much he struggled earlier on this season, and he still is having an average year. He has 100 WRC plus and a 1.9 WAR at this point. We did not pay him to do that. We paid him to be a star like we know he can be, and there is a lot of frustration built up behind that. But let me just tell you these numbers, and you tell me if you want this guy in your lineup. So he's had back-to-back 5.8 WAR seasons in his rookie year and last year in 2023. In his rookie year, he had a 148 WRC plus, and in his second year, he had a 128 WRC plus. Does that sound like a player that you do not want in your lineup? He is the face of our franchise. Why would we not want him in the lineup on a day-to-day basis, fully healthy? The ankle thing still scares me, so I don't really know if I want to see him not be fully healthy and still playing, but at the end of the day, he's probably going to play anyway. So with all due respect to the crowd out there that likes to hate on Julio, I get it. He's very frustrating at times, and he's a very streaky hitter, but he's only in his 3rd season. He's still only, 24 years old, 23 maybe. He's fine. Just let him do his thing. He will be better. He will continue to get better. He's a grinder. You know he wants to win. So I just wanted to nip that in the bud because I don't know where all of that is coming from, because Julio, who wouldn't want Julio Rodriguez in our lineup right now, fully healthy, being able to play? That just makes no sense to me, and yeah, that's all I'll say on that. But in terms of the playoff hopes, this is really just very frustrating. The Seattle Mariners have lost 12.5 games on the Houston Astros in the past 2 months. They eventually, as we know, had a 10-game lead in the AL West, and now they are 2.5 games behind. And here's kind of an issue where it stems from in certain guys and certain numbers that we were having in our lineup every single day. So I want to talk about 4 main players since July 15th. So right now it is August 15th, so you're talking about a month's time. And that's Josh Rojas, Dylan Moore, Leo Rivas, and Mitch Garver. Some of this will not come to a surprise for many of you because we know the struggles of Mitch Garver and Josh Rojas since the beginning of the year, who really started off hot and has really dialed it down. But here's just some numbers for you on those guys since July 15th. So Josh Rojas has a 90 WRC plus and a 203 batting average. Demo has a 93 WRC plus with a 175 batting average. Leo Rivas has a 17 WRC plus with a 160 average. And Mitch Garver has a 46 WRC plus with a 119 average. And the saddest part about all of that is that every single day in our lineup, we were having at least 2 of these guys playing. At least 2. Just let that sink in that you have 2 guys performing at a very low level that are playing every single day. So sometimes it can even be 3 when Mitch Garver's catching. So it could be Mitch Garver and then Demo at short and Josh Rojas at third. So that's 3 of these guys that are playing at one time. That is simply just not going to help you get to the playoffs. And at this point in the season, you need guys that are going to be performing. And there's really not much you can do at this point, except go out and get maybe Amed Rosario, who was still DFA'd by the Dodgers, and he is hitting over 300 average. And we need a guy like that desperately, especially while JP is out. I don't think they're going to go out and get him, but he would be a huge utility piece that we could use even when JP is back to put him everywhere. He plays anywhere that you would need him. So giving Josh Rojas more days off and Demo and just these guys that are just simply not producing. We could talk about the Mitch Garver thing all day, but it is really, really frustrating that they are having this guy. He's going to be coming back next year, $12 million AAV, and this is just how he's performing. It's not that he's given up. I don't want to say that because all these guys work their butts off to do what they do on a day-to-day basis, but it is just really frustrating how he has just completely lost his stride in terms of hitting. So as of right now, the Seattle Mariners play the Detroit Tigers today. They play a 3-game series against the Pittsburgh Pirates, as well as then go to LA to face the Dodgers. That being said, the Pittsburgh Pirates have lost 10 in a row, so there is simply no excuse to not walk in there and absolutely try to get at least 2 or 3, if not a sweep But it is very much a toss-up on whether this team can really make the playoffs, especially the wild card being as competitive as it is with the Royals, the Red Sox, the Twins, all these teams that are just kind of doing really well since the All-Star break, and we just haven't. We've been very mediocre, right middle of the pack. I believe we are 11-11, maybe, if not 11-12 after last night's loss. But either way, that's just not good enough. The Astros have one of the best records in the entire league since the All-Star break, and they're just proving that they're just gaining ground, and we can't keep up. So not to go back kind of to the trade deadline, but this is one of the things that we were kind of fearful of is, Victor Robles has slowed down a lot, so you kind of need that extra bat that you knew can come in here and be a very reliable player. Not saying that Victor Robles is going to struggle, and as we know, we extended him, but he has been struggling the past few days. He has 6 Ks in his last 9 at-bats, and previously with his entire time with the Mariners, he only had 20 strikeouts across 123 plate appearances. So definitely a much higher strikeout rate in his past 2 games, so hopefully he can figure that out. But the biggest fear was this offense would not be consistent, and they're kind of showing why they haven't been consistent all season, and they really are just struggling right now. It doesn't make sense how you can go from really good offense, you outscore the Mets 22-1, you're on fire, and then you go in, play the Detroit Tigers, who are not a bad team. They just haven't had the best year. They don't really have that many standout guys, but they have very good players. But you go in and you score 2 runs across 2 games against them. Sorry, 3 runs, but you get the point. So to be honest, I cannot sit here and confidently say that the Seattle Mariners will be a playoff team come October. They really need to get into a hot streak and just walk over teams that are, like the Dodgers that can go in and just win the series. You don't need a sweep. Just keep winning series, and hopefully the Astros can slow down a little bit. I don't know if I really consider the Rangers really in the race anymore, being 9.5 games back. But I don't know what's going to be going on. This is going to be a very long month and a half, especially if the Mariners don't end up making the playoffs yet again. They have their best pitching that they could arguably have ever had in franchise history, and missing the playoffs with them would just really be just a gut punch. So please let me know what you guys think the Mariners need to do to really go out and win the division, and hopefully the Astros can slow down because they're just on a tear right now. I believe they've won 9 in a row or something like that. So we kind of need a little bit of help from them, but we need to do our job and win series and win baseball games. Otherwise, I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.